Hey, it's Lauren. All right, so I've been thinking a lot about something, and that is the fact that I have really changed how I'm doing my makeup now that I'm in my 30s compared to in my 20s. And I wanted to share what those changes are and why. So, obviously, every decade of life brings on some new changes in your skin, and I think it's important to be adaptable with that. So, as you get older, you lose collagen in your skin, and what that leads to is fine lines and wrinkles and more movement and face expression than what you had in the previous decades. So, as you can see, when you first look at my face, I have a couple of little fine lines, nothing too dramatic. But when I show expression, you see it on my face. And what that translates to is your makeup sits quite differently. So, I used to wear a lot more like full coverage foundations and things like that. Not that I needed them, but it was fun to play with. I find now I reach for more sheer coverage type foundations because I'm really just looking for things that are going to cancel out a little bit of redness and not settle into my fine lines and my pores. I have also found that I don't really use as many super matte products. I really want something that is going to bring some freshness and radiance to my skin, just because I find that to be a little more flattering than a super matte formula. This is the Chanel #1, by the way. I am the shade BD31. And this is a pretty good match. It'll be a little better once it starts warming up outside. But you can see it really just kind of cuts my redness, helps to start evening things out a bit. Now, the next product we're gonna move into and talk about is concealer. Oh my gosh, there are so many trends for concealer, and let me tell you, most of them do not look great as you start getting older. Unless you have had, Botox and fillers and things that keep your face from moving and crinkling. If you are like myself and you have not had any of that, you're going to have expression lines, and concealer does not really play well in them. It accentuates them rather than camouflage. So this is the Yves Saint Laurent Touche High Cover Pen. Now, I used to have this whenever I was younger and I had the original formula. I wanted the high cover because I definitely have some more dark circles than I used to. But here's the thing. All of these concealer trends from a lot of beauty gurus and stuff, they are like the thick triangles under your eyes, or like the whole like broken Nike check thing that goes on. And as you get older and you've got more movement in your face, that doesn't look great. So what I have found doing that works really well for me and my skin is just putting a little right here, okay? I really don't put a lot out here because that's where you get more crinkling and movement. I'm just gonna use my fingers to blend this. But brightening up this inner corner where a lot of us tend to have more discoloration has been a much better solution, a much more flattering solution for myself now that I'm in my 30s. And what I like to do is I really just kind of focus it on the inner corner. Look how much it brightened up my face. This, by the way, is like more of like a medium cover. It's not like full high coverage, but it's got this radiance and luminosity to it. So it really reflects that light out and brightens it up without being super heavy. And I'll take a little of whatever is left on my finger and just kind of pull it over where I have a little bit more of that discoloration. But look, it's not gonna settle into those lines the same way as if you were to put a big, thick swath of color on there. Little dab will do you, a little bit goes a long way. I also have found, as I've gotten older, I am not looking to paint on a new face. Like, I like my face, I'd like to see it. And just having things that make me look a little more balanced and evened out is really more what I'm interested in, rather than putting on a mask of makeup at this point. Don't get me wrong, I love playing with different eye looks and lips and all that kind of stuff, but when it comes to my skin, I just want it to look like the best version possible of my skin, you know? Put a little of this right here to cut a little more redness through the center. It's kind of the great thing about this pen. It's super easy to use. It's really portable. And it kind of has like a highlighting quality too, which is so nice. Got a little bit of a breakout right there. Let's cover that up. I always like to get this like inner portion because I do have some blueness there. Just really brighten it all up. And I kind of bring it down my nose because I have some redness there too. Always have redness on the bridge of my nose. So yeah, like using a less heavy coverage product all over your face and then going back in and really just focusing on areas that need a little extra attention rather than spackling your whole face has really been a game changer for me. Something else I've really come to love as I've gotten a little bit older are just cream products in general. This is a cream blush from Victoria Beckham. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my cheeks just to bring some brightness and freshness. I do change out my blushes quite a bit, just depending on my mood and whatever I want to accomplish with that day. But I do find, like, in my collection, I have very few powder blushes at this point, just because I love the luminosity and kind of the juicy cheek appearance that you can get from having a cream blush. This is Victoria Beckham in Roller Skate, by the way. Pretty and fresh. Now I'm going to powder my face, but again, I don't use that much powder anymore. I used to do entire looks with just a powder foundation, and I still like the Bare Minerals for that, but I just find that too much powder, it just can really dull your face. Like, it's not even that it settles into like lines and wrinkles and that kind of thing. It just kind of, it dulls your complexion. It mattifies it. It kills the radiance, right? I do need a little bit of help with that, like right through the center of my face, but I don't like doing that all over my entire face now. Do a little under my eyes to set and kind of pop across through there. I barely tap it in there just to pick up the tiniest amount of product. I do, however, go a little harder on my eyelids because that's where I tend to have transfer and smudge issues, and a lot of times this acts as a really great base to not only cancel the pigmentation in my eyelids, but also it makes my shadows and stuff last longer as well. All right, now you can see I still have some luminosity to my face, but this is going to keep things from sliding around. It's going to set my makeup, and as I get more oily, it's going to kind of counterbalance that throughout the day. Now, let's talk about bronzers. I have some cream bronzers and I like them, but I have found, as far as like my favorite bronzer now that I'm getting older, the Westman Atelier Butter Bronzer. It's really good. So it's powder, but the formula of this plays really well with any liquids or creams on your skin. So because you saw I didn't really set the outside of my face, this mixes in with your makeup similarly, in my opinion, to the way that a cream does. There's just something about this formula. I like the ease and application of having it in a powder, but it wears more like a cream. It doesn't completely flatten out. You can see that shine and radiance through it, which I think is so lovely. I'm gonna do a little bit right through here. I try to keep my bronzer where my face would receive the most sun naturally, kind of in this like W pattern across the center of your face. And sometimes I'll pull a little down here so I don't look disconnected. And do a little on my neck too. And you'll kind of notice when I do that, I don't really go through the center, because when you naturally get sun, your face kind of blocks that part of your neck. But also I do have neck banding there, and so if I put bronzers and things on there, it settles into those lines and it's not super cute as the day goes on. And you also see when I do this, I really try to like get that portion of my hairline. This is much harder if you're blonde, I'm so sorry. But it looks much more natural if you've got that going all the way up into your hairline rather than seeing white through your scalp. And kind of lastly, for like my base routine for my skin, I love using a highlighter, a little something. I think the key with this is using something that's not going to amplify texture on your skin. I love these Spectral Shines from Phytosurgence. This is the shade Fresh Fog, and I'm just going to put a little bit right through here. Look at that. It is so beautiful. I love this because even when I smile and stuff, it doesn't bunch up in the lines on my face throughout the day. I can move my face normally and not worry that it's going to start looking strange. Just that extra little added dose of radiance though. It's like a filter for your face. I love these so much. You always want to really work that product. Just keep swirling and swirling and swirling. You'll think that you've swirled enough. No, just go a little bit longer. It's like this beautiful cream powder hybrid and I am obsessed. Love. And then I'm going to do a little bit right here just because I want to kind of balance out my nose. Little right here. And that's kind of it for my skin routine these days. I keep it very simple. I use something very light and sheer all over my face. I spot conceal where I need to, not whatever is trending, because that just does not work for me anymore. I very lightly powder my face. I try to stick with cream blushes. I use a bronzer that blends in beautifully with my other base products. And then I add a little highlight to bring some luminosity and freshness back to my face. That's kind of it. And I have really enjoyed this kind of simpler base routine and ditching whatever the trends are. I don't need to do a paint by number on my face and try to blend out all of these hard lines. You know, I think as you get a little older, you become a little more comfortable with just doing whatever works for you and not what everybody else is doing. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please make sure to give it a little thumbs up. Helps other people find my channel and I can continue bringing you fresh new content. Also, if you want to see more of me, make sure you hit the subscribe button and I will see you next time. Bye.